Okay, this is it. Kind of coming on to C227. Let's see what we can do with this piece of shit. Oh, I tried to burp. Sorry, it didn't come out. I wanted to tell the world on YouTube that the nerds will inherit the copier world, and normally I burp. I'll say that after I've burped or belched, whatever. And unfortunately, I couldn't get that burp to come out. Maybe I used to do that a lot in 2013, 2014, but it seems like in 2018 I just can't seem to get the same belch power that I used to have back then. Yeah, I don't drink fizzy drinks very often, so if I drink a soft drink it'll come out, but I'm not drinking that stuff, so, well, at least not currently anyway. But I used to love drinking Coca-Cola a lot. It was my favourite drink. It's still a nice drink, but I guess I think Coca-Cola is another corrupt corporation, and I try not to feed their financial coffers whenever I can avoid it. It's still a tasty soft drink. It's nothing like I must confess, there's nothing like a cold can of Coke or a cold glass bottle of Coke on a hot summer day. I used to drink so much fucking Coke, and it was like really the nicest feeling on a hot day was just to down a bottle or a can of Coke. Nice and cold. Very cold. It was really nice. I used to burp a lot, consequently. Okay, let's see how this one looks. This one's going to be a challenging one, I think. I don't know what colour we're going to give this one. Oops. What are we going to do here? We're going to take out, not have too much black. So we're going to make it a bit lighter. This one's going to be a little challenge. This one's probably going to be, we don't want it too dark for this. So let's see what we've got, what this one is. I've got to enlarge it. Okay, it is. I had done one before. I think this is another separate one I've done. I look similar, but this is TAFE. Again, another TAFE card. Sorry, because my short-term memory and my hippocampus are damaged. Well, damaged at birth, and that explains why I couldn't do very well at TAFE, because TAFE is a place, well, it's in Australia, it's a huge institution, and I used to do quite a few TAFE courses, but I didn't know that I had brain damage from my birth. My short-term memory and my hippocampus were trashed because I had a cord around my neck and came out feet first, which is referred to as a breech position. And basically, the hippocampus, for your information, is the part of the brain that converts short-term memory to long-term memory, and both parts of the brain, both the short-term and the hippocampus, were both damaged, I believe, and basically it's prevented me from achieving scholastically. I did terrible at school, and my parents weren't impressed, but it wasn't my fault. I am disabled, and the disability was never diagnosed, so I got the blame for all my outbursts and the things I did wrong at school. Even trying to be myself wasn't good enough for my parents. I used to try to prevent my parents from seeing my school report, and even more horrible were the parent-teacher night notes. That looks quite nice. Could improve that. But basically I used to be terrified of parent-teacher nights because I thought being myself would get me into trouble, and basically I used to hide the parent-teacher notes, and in high school I successfully prevented my parents from attending a parent-teacher night. But I still couldn't escape from the school reports. Somehow my parents found my dreadful underachieved school reports. One of them said, one of the things I remember in one of my school reports was that from a history teacher called Mr. Jacobs. He basically made a comment that I treated that I treated school like a toy, or made it, or something along those lines, that I treated school like a toy. I didn't mean to, but I just couldn't learn, and I just wasn't interested. Therefore, I had all sorts of problems. I got bullied, I got hassled, I sometimes got into physical punch-ups, usually with blokes. So it wasn't a very nice place to be, and that doesn't look very strong. It wasn't a very nice, happy place, school. School didn't make me happy, and TAFE wasn't fun either. These disabilities have caused me so many problems. But I now work in a sheltered workshop because of that, and I'm on Centrelink benefits, disability support pension. If you're not familiar with that, guys, from out of Australia, Centrelink is the welfare organisation, or the social security organisation that gives me my payments so I can survive and have a decent life, even though my brain's totally fucked. Not totally fucked. I'm good at this. I'm good at this. This is not a problem. But other things, and it does. I do feel like a failure. I do wish I could have been a photocopier technician. I couldn't do that job. I would have loved to have done that job, but I couldn't do it. And I just feel so disappointed with my disability. But now I've learned pretty much what's wrong with my mind, why I can't learn and why I can't achieve. And I've got other disabilities as well, which I don't want to mention, but basically these are the disabilities that stop me from learning and stop me from achieving at school. I do believe I have Asperger's syndrome, which is responsible for my passion here. And having Asperger's syndrome might be the very thing that prevented me from being, how should I put it? There, that looks a bit cooler now. But having Asperger's syndrome was what has made the rest of my brain, or most of my brain, high functioning. And I think behind the Asperger's syndrome, the intellectual disabilities were kind of hidden. But they didn't know that I had Asperger's either, and I still haven't been formally diagnosed for Asperger's, and I haven't been formally diagnosed for the disabilities, the disabilities that I have, the ones I just mentioned, my hippocampus and my short-term memory. I haven't been diagnosed for that yet, so I'm hoping that I'm hoping to go through a battery of tests once I get married to Luigi and settle down, and we can just go through these tests and hopefully. Now I'm trying to think what we can do to make this better, but I want to go through a bunch of tests to confirm what I know about my brain is true, and to find other areas that might not be functional as well. But basically, I look forward to a day when they have artificial brain parts, bionic brain implants, like using quantum computers. But the quantum computers have to be able to run at normal temperatures, not this deep frozen outer space kind of temperature that they typically run, that they always have to run on to function, so they don't make too many errors. They can't run at normal temperatures. You can't run a quantum computer at normal temperatures, like room temperature or outdoor temperature. It's got to be frozen, really deep frozen. And they're going to have to overcome that technical problem before these chips can be utilised as neural implants. I think that's the term, neural implants, or neuroprosthesis. That's what they are. And then one day when they have those, I'll look forward to the day when I can run a company that builds artificially intelligent photocopiers, and photocopiers that last 60 years instead of 10, instead of 5 years. This is 5 years. Only spare parts are only available for 5 years, and that's it. It's just no good. It's not sustainable. And these machines are going to have only about 5% plastic content instead of all this shitty plasticky shit. And I'm going to make a lot of money, and I'm going to give most of my money away to good causes, because I believe when you make a lot of money and you're capable of making money, you should give back to society. You should see it as your opportunity to make a difference. We're not going to do any more. You've got to somehow take the opportunity to make a difference, not to destroy the planet, not to make people poverty-stricken, hungry, thirsty, dirty, cold, hot. All humans have a right to live a happy and fruitful existence, to enjoy life. Life is there to be enjoyed. Why do we have trees? Why do we have beautiful coral reefs? Why do we have bushland and beautiful rainforests with melodious birds singing? Why do we have nature when we're just destroying it, and the people who are poor cannot enjoy it? It's so sad. But my dream, I'm hoping, will come true, and that everyone will get a chance to have a decent life. All humans deserve a decent existence, a dignified existence, even if they're disabled or they might seem to be useless to society. They have a heart, they have a mind, they have a soul. We all need to coexist in this world, and we've got to keep this planet clean and keep the temperature down with global warming and climate change. We've got to work together as a human race, and even the people who can't be educated, they deserve a life too. Got to go.